Oh, dude, it's so good to like catch up. I know we get to do this every now and again, but to do this like for other people to enjoy, I think that's a cool thing. Like, people want more
Yeah,
Sam. I always want more Sam, so let's give the people what they want.
yeah. I spend a lot of time just sort of hiding from them at the moment, so it's yeah, nice to be here.
You just got back from tour though.
Yeah,
Surely you need some like respite after that of just being like forward facing on crowds for weeks on end. Kind of
yeah. It's
need to
pretty
have
crazy.
that.
Actually, life's been pretty crazy since even getting back from that because we did. Yeah, me and my wife went to Scotland after straight after tour, so we had like 2 days at home. Then I went to Scotland because we're thinking about moving up there just because it's such a beautiful place.
Mm.
And then I came home and then I had a day at home and then I went up to Manchester because I was invited to go and watch Manchester United train and meet the players. And then I went to go and watch them play.
Were you a giddy
And that was,
schoolgirl?
I was, bro, honestly, it's like, it's honestly for me like meeting, I don't know, it's like meeting my actual heroes. It was crazy.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's so
I had the
good.
best time. Yeah, but it's so
That's
funny
awesome.
being like having the shoe be on the other foot because I'm not like with musicians and stuff. I think because I've been around it for so long, I'm not really like geeky unless it's like the Beatles. Then
Yeah.
I'm like when I met Paul McCartney, I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. But yeah, to be like, can you sign this? Like I haven't done that in a long time. And just stood on this thing like with a pen, like meeting the players, like, oh, what's up? Can you sign this? And the one
Did
player
you?
that I know that follows me, because one of the United players follows me, he wasn't there, and I was like, oh man, that would have been the way to make it
That's your
way.
in. Just focus on that
Yeah,
one guy.
it would have made it way less awkward because I'd have been like, hey, my guy, how are you? But with the rest of them, they have no idea who I am. I'm just there, like, hello, hi, I love you guys.
Do you? Is there any like self awareness to be like, like I need to act the way I want people to act when they come to see me?
Do you know what's funny? Is actually, yeah, you definitely think. I was definitely like, oh, it's funny experiencing it like on the other foot, like being like, oh, it does take a lot to ask somebody for a photo or
Yeah.
for a picture. It's like it's actually terrifying. So yeah, it's made me be like, not that I was. I've always nice to people that ask us for photos and stuff because they're like it's so cool. Like I love being in this
Yeah.
band and I love that people love our band, but it definitely made me be like, you need to be really nice.
Yeah. I
Like
found when the channel first started like becoming bigger and people started like coming up at shows and saying hi to us and stuff because of social media. I'd had that for many years, and I tricked people a long time ago into thinking I was cooler than I am. Johnny had only recently come on, and he was like, the first time someone came up and they were chatting, he was just like a bit lost, and he's like, I didn't know what to say after they said hi. I was like, yeah, you have to lead the conversation because they've done the
yes,
hardest part of coming to say hi. From then, you need to make
yeah.
them feel as comfortable as possible because that's the experience they're getting. They don't know what to say. They know you. You don't know them, so you need to lead it.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
also,
Yeah,
I think you've just like so much adrenaline going through them because, yeah, to like actually ask to speak to someone that you like really like, whether that's me or whether that's somebody else. I'm not trying to be like big headed, like, oh, it takes a lot to ask to say hello to me. But I think then they like freeze. And it's like, yeah, you have to make them feel comfortable and be like,
yeah,
can I, do you want a picture? Do you want this? Like, it's funny, like yeah, having the shoe be on the other foot and like speaking to like Man United's captain and being like, I think you're going to score tomorrow, and like trying to have like an actual like conversation with them with someone that you're like, kind of like with a football club, you're like obsessed with them. You're like reading
yeah.
and like watching stuff about them all the time, and then you see them. They came out at training and then they just kind of stood in a line like waiting to have this picture with us, and I was just like, that's my football team just standing there staring at me. And I had to like walk over and be like, what's up, guys? You good? Is everyone all right? Like trying to break the
I think
ice
you
with
probably
like
have the
biggest
best,
yeah.
experience for that. Like, I'm sure they'd appreciate that you can kind of understand it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And
I think they probably were just
they
like,
get
who the
that a
fuck
lot.
is this guy? Yeah, they get it all. I
I
mean, they
think,
can't live a normal life, like
yeah,
it's that level of fame. I'm like, no, you're good. I want to be
yeah.
able to walk my dog and go to the shops.
I know you say like that level of fame, but I don't know if you've seen your Spotify, but you have millions of streams on songs. That's a thing that I think
Yeah,
about all the time. When I like when we're talking with bands or people and being like, the thing that you've created is being consumed so many times, and being the front man that people like, a lot of people would associate the band with you. Your face is what comes up there. So even if you're like, they're like, man, I don't know who I am. Like they've got millions of people. You also have that, just a different feel.
Yeah. I'm just, it's a funny one, man. Like it really is like, especially like within different scenes and things, like people, to someone you could be this like giant, person in their lives, and then someone you're just like, I don't know. Like it's great. It's cool. And I love alternative music, and I love the alternative scene so much. So it's, to some people, Metallica aren't anybody, but to me, they're amazing. And, probably biggest metal band in the world.
Yeah. That's a great segue. You got to play with fucking Metallica, dude. We haven't really talked about that, particularly not on the channel.
Yeah.
What was going through your head there? Like, because you're right, that's like biggest metal band of the time. You've got like your Slipknots and stuff that are like currently still a massive, massive band, but Metallica like an all-time band.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
It's crazy how big they are. Like crazy. And, we're experiencing one night of it. They're doing 2 nights in every venue that we play with them, and they're doing like a no repeat. So it's like different set list, different support bands. So we're just there for like a day. But even the just one day, it's like, oh my God, we're in like a football team's stadium. Like we were in Ajax's stadium, like a stadium I've always wanted to go to. And they're doing 2 sold out nights there. And they're so cool. They're so cool with it. Like we've never been on tour with a band that's so welcoming and nice and kind. Like the first day of the tour, James Hetfield knocked on our door, and we opened the door, and Rob was there as well. And they had a cake, some flowers, a card, and a bottle of whiskey. And they were just like, "Welcome to the tour. Anything we can do, you're welcome to it." The production manager and all the crew, like they clear the stage. Like we're playing in the round, and they take all their stuff off. So they're like, you have full access to the entire stage, do whatever you want. And then after the first show, they're like, we've got 2 cars here, like bring your wives, bring your girlfriends, like you're coming to dinner with us. Like we've booked you like reservations where we're going. And then they've done it every single show we've played with them. Like Lars came and sat with us for like 40 minutes on the first day, like introed himself, and me and Dan sat outside with him for ages. And they just make you feel so welcome, and like go out of their way, and all their crew go out of their way to be like, just so kind to us. And we've got a bunch more shows with them this year. So I can't wait to go back and play to thousands of people in a football stadium. And be like, so cool. I'm going to pretend that these are all my fans for now.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, I feel like you're going to have, there's a definite crossover there. What's it like from a fan perspective? Coming like you're saying, that's one of the biggest metal bands of all time, and that's a band that you grew up loving. Yeah. What's it like playing and then being able to like, and now I'm going to go watch that, and because they're doing the no repeats thing, you're seeing a unique set all the time.
What's cool as well is they have like the snake pit in the middle of the round. So they're like, they asked us if we want to go in there, and now we just, of course you want to go in there. But it's cool like experiencing it from different places in the ground as well, because we can kind of go wherever. So it's been fun like watching some from the snake pit and then some from the crowd, and then just experiencing it because it's so massive. But being that close to watching them play some of the biggest metal songs of all time, and you're just like, oh, all right, mate. Like you just
thanks for the flowers.
Away and being like, thanks for the flowers, mate. Did you watch our set? It's super cool, and it just goes to show, like even the biggest bands in the world can be super cool. So you've got to stay there.
That's, I think, the best way. Like that's leading from the front. That's what you like to hear from a band that's like they're not in their prime, but they're still as relevant as ever. But like leading from the front, as in being welcoming, making that experience for like the younger bands. I'm classing you guys as a younger band there.
Yeah.
It makes you being like, fuck, we've got to do that. To the bands that we bring along on tour, like that's what the experience we want to give them. Because that's just going to put you in better stead with everyone. Because they're going to get away and that interview with that band as they come up, they'll be like, man, how fucking cool were Architects to us when we were on tour. They were so nice. And I like
that's
that.
all you got to do is just be nice and be friendly and be approachable. And I think that's what we try and do. We've definitely been on tour with bands that haven't been like that with us, and it's uncomfortable and not nice. And I think especially when you're away for however long you're away from, you've got to kind of make this like tour camaraderie, like a touring family, And yes, it's easier to be nice. I think you have to go out of your way to be a dickhead.
Yeah,
and
I do.
Like, who's got the energy? Who's got the energy for that?
Yeah. I have to say, I'm going to give you a compliment here, but you have absolutely been that for both me and the channel as like two separate things. You've always been an absolute pleasure. And we, both Johnny and I, love and appreciate the support you've shown us because it does mean the world to us. Like I said, we grow, like I came to you as a fan to start with. I'd listen to Architects growing up from like day dot. So it was like to start that way and then build into like a friendship, but because you're like a genuine good dude. And I love seeing that gets recognized by other bands, but I hope that like the fans get to see that side too. Not just the ones that get to meet you in person, but like overall see that, because metal can seem like a real tough, scary place and a bit. Was that a puppy dog?
That was my dog just crying, just like, please give me attention.
Well, you can bring the dog in.
She's like, I have a bird feeder outside, and the bird feeder got knocked over by these crows, and now she wants to go outside and eat the bird feed.
Well, that's fair enough. Hi,
so
sweetie.
She can just hang here because otherwise she's just going to cry and be a baby the whole time.
Hey, we have the more dogs the merrier policy. She's
essentially my daughter.
Yeah, dude, I relate to that.
yeah.
100%.
But I think I love being in a band. It's kind of like what I wanted to do from when I was a kid. Like I wasn't very good at anything else. And like when I mean like wasn't very good, I was like genuinely terrible at like maths and everything, and science and everything. It just was all too much for me. But like I just had this deep love of music, and it never felt like a job or like something I had to practice. It was just like I was practicing it. I was playing drums. Cool. I was listening to music, and then I value the sort of position that the band is in so much, and I care so much about it. And the fact that other people understand that and can see that and then love our band because of it, like I'm always going to be grateful for that opportunity to express my kindness to people like yourselves that have, like go out of their way to like be kind to us. I think you just got to give what you get. It's really not hard to just be like, hey, thanks, that's really kind that you said that. I think especially in the world of internet where people aren't that kind, as well. It's you got to try and support the people that are nice, and you guys have always been so kind. And I love the channel. I love the fact that it's not just like a reaction to something you don't like to be like, this is awful, and no one listens to this. This is dreadful music that some channels do, to try and get clicks and likes and stuff. And that's just not real life. I think you can not like something and be like, this isn't for me, but you might like it. But some people are just like, fuck this. This is the worst thing I've ever heard. I don't want this person to be able to pay their mortgage. I don't want them to have a life.
Yeah. Bring them down.
Cancel them because they don't do the Blegh.
Yeah. Oh, dude. You know what? We didn't really get to talk about this the last time you and I spoke up. Bringing the Blegh back, and in the way that you did with Seeing Red.
Yeah.
Was there any part of you being like, I don't want to give you that? Like, you fuckers don't deserve that.
Do you know, like for me, what's funny with it is just like it's obviously a thing that like I'm associated with, and people love it, and it brings them happiness. And it's kind of like a signature thing now. That when we were doing the song, and it was obviously so heavy and kind of we were ticking off the kind of like metalcore kind of vibes throughout the song, it was like, oh, this needs to be this needs to be here. And yeah, it was funny. It's funny doing it. And what I do love about it is like playing it live and hearing like an arena full of people do the Seeing Red into the Blegh. Like that's great. And like, you know, it's a big part of our band. I think, you know, I said like once, I wish I'd never made that stupid noise. And like, I was probably in a bad mood, you know, and I think the thing that gets kind of missed in that moment is like we were touring Holy Hell, and you know, it was a very emotional album, and Dan had obviously written some really, you know, touching lyrics about his brother, and then it just felt like people were talking about this stupid noise, and I was kind of just like embarrassed to be taking away from like all the hard work that he put in.
Yeah, sure.
This noise. So I was like, oh, fuck this noise. Like, you know, I was just aggy about it. But I love it. Yeah, it's funny. It's like a little signature thing. And yeah, it was cool bringing it back and kind of like knowing that like right at the start when it kicks into that heavy thing that people are going to be like, holy shit, they're not messing around.
Yeah, he did the thing.
He's done the thing.
I liked it. I thought that, I think it was like Good Things Festival last year. I sent you that photo of that girl's tattoo on the back of her leg that had the Blegh. And you was like,
oh my God.
Oh no.
This is it. We had it in Italy. We were playing a show in Italy on the last and someone crowd surfed over and they had a sign that was like, please write the word Blegh and I'll get it tattooed. And I signed the thing and I was like talking down the microphone. I was like, just say sorry to your parents for me because like I'm so sorry. Like I have some fucking dumb tattoos, but like I'm so sorry.
I think that's a fun thing. Also, that's especially poignant coming from you, from the like that for them is something, and it's coming from you. You've made it. I think there's not going to be any regret in that.
Yeah, I had to double check, like reading how the guy had written Blegh because so many people spell it differently. I was like, I'm just going to write it how you did because I'm borderline not going to be able to do this right with this pressure.
Yes, yeah. Did you go with the Blegh?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think that's like the most common. Yeah, that's a weird thing for people to write a word that's not a real thing. People being like, that's definitely how it's spelled.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I did it in like my hardcore. I was in a hardcore band. I played drums in it, and we loved this band called Outbreak, and they would do it a lot. And they were really thrashy and really great. And we basically tried to sound like them, and we ended up touring with them as well, which was cool. And they were so nice. But it was like one of the first vocals that I recorded, like heavy vocals, and the guy that was singing in the band at the time was just like, "Do this noise because you've got like a higher pitched voice, and it will sound great." And we did it, and then from there, like when I joined Architects, we started when we did like a cover of someone. I can't remember. I think it was like Stamping Ground or someone. And then I did it there, and then I was like, oh, cool, we'll keep this. Like this is a fun noise, and it was kind of like a throwback to like hardcore and what the hardcore bands were doing, and then now it seems to be like the most metalcore thing possible, and has gone from hardcore into there. So hardcore kids probably fucking hate me.
I think there's a bleed over of that, like because I like Stick to Your Guns is a band that had that in like early albums for them, and they're like very much a hardcore band, and that's a sound I still associate with them. But also like I feel like hardcore kids aren't just hardcore kids anymore. It's just like the heavy spectrum is so bled out that if you like one, you're generally going to like most of the other. I think you're going to have like the purists in that way in this as much as we probably used to, which is a cool thing.
Yeah, and it's cool, man. It kind of just touched to sort of when I was in my younger bands. So yeah, it's cool.
Full circle moment. Talk to me about again. I want to talk about Seeing Red Singers. It's been a little while since you dropped it, but we haven't been able to talk about it. But the aggression and like it comes off conversations that you and I have had before about the negative Nancys on the internet. I'm going to call them that as a nice way. Fuckwits, we also like to call them. You call them out pretty clearly. Did you receive much backlash from that?
Do you know, like I thought it was really funny, and I thought like the song, obviously really liked the song. And then like the day before it came out, I was like, oh my God, what have we done? What have we done? This is gonna really piss some people off. But then I was like, it's funny because it's obviously so self-aware as well. Like we're aware what we're doing, and we're aware of like what people like about our band. You know, I think after this amount of time of being in a band, you have to be. And I think kind of we're aware that the last record was different, and I think if you like, I can understand why you would like it, and I would understand why you weren't as hyped on it. And I think it's a time and a place. And I think that's kind of like what's great about music is that, at that time we wanted to write something that sounded like that, and we did, and we were, very happy and proud of the outcome. And now we're writing other stuff that's probably influenced by that, but more influenced by everything else that we've done. Right now, I don't know where the record's going to go, but I would say that there's a respect for the history of the band right now.
Cool.
And I think we're sort of like evolving with, looking at like what we've done in the past and kind of where we can take it now. And I think you can kind of hear that with Seeing Red. I think it's, it has the chorus of a very catchy, dark chorus of kind of now Architects. But then like a kind of nod to old Architects riffs, and then the breakdown is like a kind of futuristic old Architect. Like it's evolving and making things feel fresh this far on. It is really fun. But yeah, we did. I think like I don't now see anything because I deleted Twitter, and my comments on Instagram are just for people that I follow. So I don't really see anything because I think it's better for my mental health to just not have to deal with any of that. And I don't think you have to these days. I think you can just. I'm fortunate that I'm in a position where I can be like, I don't need this. I'll put the stuff out there and you can see it or whatever. But if you want to, get angry and go on Architects Instagram and just shout into the void. But I think for the I mean, it's one of the best streaming songs we've ever released. Like straight away, it's nearly got 10 million streams on Spotify already, and it's been like pretty consistently the number one song on Spotify since we released it, which is crazy because it's a fun song and it came together really great. But yeah, like the reaction has been amazing, and it's cool because it's kind of when you put it out, like the reaction videos are going to be like crazy and over the top and fun, and that's what we wanted as well. It was kind of like we doing bits in the studio and being like, people are going to freak out over this bit, and that's cool. What's fun. It's exciting, and I think for the most part people kind of get that we're taking the piss out of ourselves as well.
You are taking the piss a little bit, but I'm still thinking, like, as you said, it's in a serious way. You're writing music that's like, you're paying tribute to where you come from and where you're going. Like, it's not a joke song. It's a genuine, like, great song. And like, I think you even said that to me when we spoke last time. You were like, that song didn't just come about like that. That took a long time to perfect that song to get to where it was.
Yeah.
I think
it took fucking ages.
It shows.
Yeah, it took fucking ages, but like that's what's going on right now with us writing. We're really putting things under the microscope and making sure that it's absolute perfection before it comes out. I think off the back of For Those That Wish to Exist, which was 3 yesterday, which is crazy. It's when we went and did Classic Symptoms, I think we kind of felt like, oh, cool, we can just kind of just go and do what we want. Like we're just let's just feel it out, like vibe. Like sometimes we go in the studio. Like when we were young, we did in a day, which is crazy. We've never done that before. And Animals was the last song For Those That Wish to Exist, and that came together in a day. So we were kind of like, oh, let's just go vibey. But sometimes there's room for a vibe, sometimes there's not. I think it's just like, trying to understand things and understand music and what the record needs. And I think, we're super focused on this now,
Yeah. With Seeing Red, one of the things that I saw commented a few times was like, Josh leaves and they go heavy again. I was like, oh man, people just need to like, I know it's the nature of the internet now and people want to like speculate and push at things, but Does that, if you're not reading it, I guess you're not here, but surely as a band, does that frustrate you seeing stuff like that? To being like people trying to cause more controversy or to find like a problem when there is none?
I think people always want to sort of just try and create something that's just not there because people just want to fill stuff with drama. But yeah, by the end, we still speak to Josh. Josh is great. He's a great person. And it just didn't work out band wise by the end. We were just on different paths, but just, kind of like creatively as well, just different zones. It doesn't mean it's like similar or different music tastes, it's just like we're in different paths. And you see like with Josh putting out that Solosis record, it's great. He's like, he's smashing it,
It's cool to see. Like I said, I thought the way the announcement from both sides was really well done. We haven't spoken about that. I thought it was really well done. Like it was like it seemed very like harmonious is the word I want to use there. Like we're doing this for the right reasons. There's no bad blood. I'm just like focused on this thing now and it's been great. Yeah. I think it's just a hard thing when you guys are like at the forefront of that like metalcore scene. People are going to want to kind of find
people are going to want to chat about it. Yeah. And it's all good, that's the thing. You just got to leave the internet to just eat itself. Just let it eat itself.
It's such a weird thing because we are very much on the internet. Like our entire thing is internet with this channel, and our community. I will say this, and anyone watching this, they're so good. Like we don't see much like negativity in the comments, and generally ones that do are clearly not like our people. Because you can see like the party people get in and being like, well, here's why we think this, like, and it's not abusive. It's just like, here's where you're wrong kind of situation. But I see on this, the comments on some other things. Oh my God,
I think it's just kind of a symptom of just becoming a bigger band or a bigger channel as well. Like, I've got a few friends that are comedians, and one of the things that they always say is like, you start off and you kind of know the crowd, and you get bigger and the crowd, and then they bring their nice friends, and then they bring their nice friends, and then eventually you do a few TV appearances or whatever, and then some people in the crowd you don't know, and then they're the ones that are heckling, and they don't like you, and it's you're never going to have control over everything while you're trying to essentially like push your self onto these people. Some people are going to be like, fuck this. I just find it funny because for me, like there's plenty of music and bands that I don't like, or bands can release records that I don't think is as good as the last one. But like I don't write that band off. Some of my favorite bands have released records that I'm not massively into, but I still love them and will go and see them because I love everything else they've done.
Yeah, and you also don't need to go and tell them, I don't love this thing you did, because that's like, that's the thing. I mean,
if I started doing that now, it would be crazy, wouldn't it? If I just turned into a troll, leaving comments on people's stuff like, I don't think this record's good. People would be like, why the fuck are you doing that? Like getting phone calls from friends being like, leave us alone.
Well, I mean, Craig's done it. Craig's pretty open about what he does and doesn't like, and it seems to be working out okay for him. But also, he'll sit there on Twitter for hours just poking the bear.
Yeah. That's his vibe. That's Craig in real life as well. It's great.
Yeah. I like that because he's just unapologetic himself. That's a cool
He's just him. He's great. But that's the good thing with him. You can send him records. I'll send him our stuff and be like, what do you think? And he'll be like, I fucking love it. And it's genuine, because if he didn't, he just wouldn't say anything back.
Yeah. Red. Fuck.
Yeah.
That tells you all you need to know. And talk to me about the upcoming Seeing Red US tour. That's exciting.
Yeah. We're stoked to get out there. We had a couple of times where we couldn't go because of COVID and visas and all that shit. But we're back. We're going to America, and this is part one. Where we're just excited to get out there. We're playing some crazy festivals. The lineups on them are outrageous. And doing some headline shows, and we're taking sleeps. Taking Advice of Men, and yeah, it's a cool lineup. I'm excited to get there because it's been, we haven't been to America since we haven't been to America since For Those That Wish to Exist came out. So the last time we were there was on Holy Hell, which is crazy.
That is what that's going 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
a lot's changed in that time.
Yeah. You're telling me, I'm a lot older. But I'm excited to get there, man. I'm excited to go and play, and I'm excited to sort of see America and see kind of how it is doing. Not very well by the sounds of it, but I'm excited to go and play some songs and see how the record connected over there. And like Animals did really well on radio in America, so I think we'll see how that does. And seeing Red's been getting some good play on radio out there as well. So it should be a good time.
Do you know your breakdown of like where your biggest audiences are for the band?
I know where mine is. Mine on Instagram is Melbourne. That's my most followed. That's the place I'm most followed is Melbourne.
Interesting.
I think it's America just on the size of America, I think, for the band.
Yeah.
Just because of how many people are there. But actually, like show-wise, the biggest place will be London in the UK.
Yeah. I feel like UK turns up for UK bands. I love that.
Yeah. UK does gets behind it, and we've got a very good scene here. Australia's always been very good for us as well. We've always kind of felt like an Aussie band, like because we were brought over by Parkway, and such good friends with North Lane, and Amity, took us out a couple of times as well. We were kind of taken under the sort of Aussie wing where people seem to just think of us as a kind of Aussie band. So I fuck with that. I love that. So we don't have any plans for Australia right now though, which is very sad. But
Australia's hard and expensive to get to.
What happens? Yeah, you have to make it. It has to make sense, and kind of come off the back of a record or one that you're going to release. So I don't know when we'll be back in Australia, but I can't wait because I love it. I feel like last time was so fleeting. We were just there for like
it was
literally show off. Yeah, it was a bummer. But we're gonna try and make it a bit more fun next time. Try and have a day off here and there. Last time we just did like 3 days in a row, day off, last show home. It's like
and then your day off was you recording for the NRL thing anyway. You didn't actually have a day off. You were still working.
Which is crazy. But that's the sign of like kind of the band, like it's fucking mad, like doing that shit. If we were doing that in the UK and we were doing that for like Premier League football, you'd be like, what the fuck is going on? I love the fact that we got to do that,
Premier League football and NRL are just non-comparable in terms of the fandom. Like NRL is just Australian and it's just a majority male following in Australia. So there might be a couple of million, whereas Premier League is like a worldwide monstrous thing. Yeah. So
but
fingers crossed.
For us, like, I mean, just having like a channel like that be interested in the band and want to help and us do that shoot and like was crazy. It was cool, and like again,
it looks sick
sign
too.
of like it did come out cool. It's cool, like Australia kind of fucking with the band so hard and like supporting us. It's been great. We have a number one record in Australia for Those That Wish to Exist. I see that number one every day. It's next to the UK one. So I'm always blown away by that. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's sick. Now's as good a time. I want to talk about something fun that we're doing because we are doing a sunglass together.
Yes, we're obsessed with sunglasses together. Our love for sunglasses has come together.
Yeah, we did it. We did a good thing. I was just going to show, but I realized it's not going to show very well on this camera. I'll just superimpose them on the screen right now so people can actually see what they look like. But you were one of the very first people to wear Furor. I sent them to you before we launched.
Yeah.
And you gave us so much love and support and you wore them everywhere. It just made perfect sense.
Yeah, it was cool, man. They just really fit my face as well. Like I remember you sent them to me and I just put them on. I was like, I fucking love these. Like I was, sometimes you put sunglasses on and you're like, I don't know if these are for me. I don't, I don't really feel these, but the quality is so good, and I love them. And yeah, I was wearing the purple ones for ages, and then you came to the show, and I got some black ones, and I got some glittery ones, and then you were like, "Hey, we could do your own one if you wanted," and I was like, really? And you were like, yeah, we could just do like it's your signature sunglasses. I was like, yeah, hit me up about this. Let's do it. And it was very easy, wasn't it? It was very easy.
The process was actually stupidly. You were like, I was thinking this sort of color. I was like, this? You're like, yeah, that. Just literally first sample was right, which doesn't always happen. But it's been a long time coming. This has been close to a year in the build, actually, from when we first had the conversation. Yeah. So that's funny a slow build.
At that point as well, we hadn't written Seeing Red as well. So we had I was at that point, I was like, oh yeah, I'll do let's do black and red because I love Man United. Like, let's go, they're my colors. Like, since when I was in school to now, and then Seeing Red came out, and you messaged me being like, did you not want to tell me about this? And I was like, oh shit, yeah, I didn't even realize.
Yeah, we could have launched with this, but sure, that's fine.
I was like, I'm sorry, bro, I'm just so fucking tired, writing this song and recording it, and oh man, it was crazy shit. Okay. But yeah,
it works well because Seeing Red is still a very relevant thing for you guys, so it ties in nicely. And the cool thing for this, I think the coolest thing is that we're doing this as all proceeds are going to a charity. Yeah,
to Wonderdog Rescue. And they're just, I say she, because she's just amazing. I say they or there, and it sounds like there's more than one person involved. It's just her. And she's incredible. She's such a dear friend to me and my wife, and to Ali in the band as well. Ali's dog, Dottie, is from Wonderdog, and she's a deaf dachshund, and just even in her situation, when Wonderdog found out about Dottie, the breeder was just going to put her down because she was deaf. She was just going to get rid of this dog, and Casey's just like,
so sad.
She's just like, no. I'm going to take this dog. I'm going to find it a home. I'm going to look after it. And she's done that with just so many dogs. Right now I think she's got about 11 dogs at the moment. And some of them have just been in horrendous situations. Phoenix that she has right now was found in Ukraine after his owner's house had been hit by a rocket. He was just found in the garden with 2 of his pads just burnt and just couldn't leave and was just waiting there, and people just give up on these animals. And she's just like, no, I'm going to make this work. And then she brings them over to the UK with the help of a lot of people that help her out. And I help as well. And then they come over and she nurses them back to health, integrates them kind of into society. Cause it's sometimes they're coming from far out places. And then with the help of the charity, she will get them out there and get them adopted and help people to understand that, just because these dogs are either disabled or have been through stuff doesn't mean they should be put down. And she's an incredible person. And actually through lockdown, I lost a real sense of purpose because we weren't on tour. I couldn't do anything and had a lot of time on my hands, obviously. And my wife I followed a couple of the pages that she does. And my wife was like, just hit her up. You have all this time, just message her. And I'd sort of been quietly donating money to her, without trying to make a fuss or if I'd see her being like, we're trying to raise funds for this, I'd just buy the thing and not say anything because I didn't want her to freak her out or be try and get any praise for it. And then I just messaged her being like, hey, I just bought this wheelchair. I'd love it if I could meet you and, say hello to the dogs because I love the dogs. And she always talks to me about it. She's like, spoke to her mum about it. She's like, this weird guy's messaged me and he wants to kind of go for a dog walk. Do you think that's okay? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, I'll bring my wife. And then from there, we hit off this friendship. And, I guess kind of, I think a month into kind of knowing her, I was like, like how are you funding this? She's like, me. This is all money that I make from my job, and then I spend it all here. And I was like, this is fucking crazy. I was like, I'm gonna brainstorm some stuff. Like, I'm gonna try and figure some stuff out. And then architects have done a couple of shirts now. Now we're doing the sunglasses. Like, I'm just trying, and through people like yourself and through the band and through other charities, to try and just raise awareness of what she's doing, because, in the long term, I'd like to try and like fund something where she had like a place and a field and like stuff where she could set stuff up at home, and that's kind of the end goal with it. But yeah, she's just the kindest person I've ever met in my life. So yeah, I really appreciate you kind of going like, I appreciate you being like, let's just raise money for them, and I back it, and she's so stoked as well.
Yeah, when I messaged you, I was like, do you want to do this for charity? Because I think you'd actually posted something about it maybe the week before, and I was thinking about it more and more, because like one of the things with Funeral, we always wanted to be like philanthropic with it. We didn't start this to make money. I started to just make cool shit. And I was like, well, if we can potentially like help in the same process, so you were like the perfect person to launch this with. So also, we love dogs. So
yes,
I'm all about helping them because they're the best things in the world.
The problem is with it is I have 2 dogs here in my life, and then I'll work with her, and then there'll be like a new rescue that we get, and then I'm like, oh god,
I want it.
I want it. You will come with me now.
Yeah, you now live at my house. I'm so sorry.
I'll send her dogs being like, let's get this. She's like, Sam, we can't. This dog doesn't. We can't bring this dog over here. This dog doesn't have any disabilities. I'm like, I know, but I want it.
It's very pretty though. Look how fun it is. Yeah, I get that.
You can just look after it, and I'll take it on weekends. Yeah. But no, she's amazing, man. She's so stoked for this as well.
Oh,
I'll have to get some photos of the dogs in the shades.
You sent me some of your dogs who are in the shades, which you have to send them through to me again, and we'll share them to the people as well. But so we'll put the link down below for the charity so they can find that in our description here. And then we are going to launch on March 15th, which will be 9 a.m. UK time and 8 p.m. Australian time, and the US can figure it out because I don't want to deal with more time zones.
Too many.
Yeah, but one of the cool things is it's also like a real limited edition bug. So, and also, I mean, again, you can see here, but I love the inside. We've replaced "You're going to do great things," and we have a compassion over cruelty in the inside here, which I love. I think that's such a beautiful little message. So,
yeah, it's kind of the little Wonderdog slogan that we've sort of came up with together, and so it's a little nod to her as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm stoked. I can't wait for people to get their hands in them. And I can start wearing them now because I've been sitting on them for 6 months and being like, I don't want to wear them all the time because people just keep asking me what they are. So
I got people asking me about it all the time. I'm like, just wait. Just
hold. Hey, talk to me about married life, because we haven't had that. You're like over a year? No, not quite a year into being married.
Yeah, nearly a year. Yeah. It's amazing, man. She's it's funny, I don't really post about her on Instagram or anything like that because she doesn't have Instagram and doesn't want me to do that. So it's nice to just have this sort of, she's just like home to me, like she's the best, she's so supportive of the band and and everything that I do and every kind of like insane thing that I come up with or I'm saying, she's so supportive, but she's also there to be like, you're being a dick as well. It's great to have that person in your life. And it's amazing, man. It was the wedding was amazing.
The photos look stunning.
Ed did such a good job, man. Like when we were getting married, I was like, Ed and his partner Geordie, I was like, they have to do it. And it came out great, man. But it's just awesome. She's like my sidekick. I always say that she's just there's nowhere else I'd rather be than just be with her. And she's really supportive and she's a great person.
I love that. And that's a cool thing when you
got married as well, right?
Yeah,
you got married
recently.
October. Yeah,
October.
They locked us down. Well,
I was so fun with that.
It was the other way around, really, wasn't it? We locked them down.
I was doing my absolute best.
Please don't leave us.
Stay forever, please. Yeah, it's the best. It's like I saw a friend today who I haven't seen in a few months, and they're like, "What's life now? Like now you're married?" And I was like, "It's the exact same, but I now get to call her my wife. It's the best."
Yeah, I went to dinner with Benji Madden and his wife before we got married, and he was like, it's the best, this, and he was talking to me about married life, and I was like, wow, like, because in my head I'm like, nothing changes, you just wear a ring, but then like when we fully got married, I was like, speaking to Benji, I was like, you're right, like, you're fully right, and at the time you're like, yeah, we're just gonna wear a ring, and then you're like, wow, man had knowledge,
It just brings you, it like unites you in a way that I didn't really understand previously. And I still don't actually understand. Like, it just makes me be like, oh no, we're like, it's now us. It's now us against the world. Before we were a couple and whatever. Now it is, we're a united thing, and it's us and our dog, and that's our little thing versus everyone else. And I love it.
We're a little team. We're a team now. You're like, yeah, fully on the team. It's amazing, man. I'm so lucky.
Talk to me about, I want to talk about music one more thing, because that's kind of the purpose of this channel, and I should probably do my job. What are you listening to right now? What are you listening to? There's no like, you don't have to be a cool dude. You can say you still listen to the same 6 Beatles songs that you're obsessed with, or you can name drop bands you want people to check out. It's up to you.
I'm listening to a lot of this band called Krangbin. And they're like, they're trying to describe them, that like psychedelic, like groovy, instrumental for the most part band. And I've loved them for so long, but they just started releasing some new singles off their new record, so I've been jamming that a lot. And yeah, I listen to a lot of like old shit in my house. And it sounds really boring, but like I just love just chilled out music like that. I think they're called like Div, like DIV. I've been enjoying them. Yeah, a lot of playlists that I'll just start just off of like Krangbin, just because it's so chill, and just through the day you're just like, I just have a nice sort of like, it just sounds like a cool hipster coffee shop in my house all the time. That's basically what I'm going for.
That's a cool way.
There's some great bands out there. We had a band open up. Loathe were incredible on the tour that we just had, and then they couldn't make one of the shows, and then I think the band was called like Throne.
Dude, Sweden, fucking love Throne.
Yeah, and they just hopped on the show because Loathe couldn't make it because they had an accident, which was fucking horrible. But then Throne just sent a DM to Mike from Spirit Box and was just like, "We can jump on the show." I was like, "Yes, fucking too right. Come jump on the show." So yeah, in terms of like heavy, I'm fucking with that. My friend's band, The Excess, released the record last year, and I was on that.
You were on that? I did see that.
Yeah.
On Throne, have you seen their Spotify thing? They've got like 8 songs, all under like 2.5 minutes, and they've got over 1 million monthly listeners. That band is good, man. Doing things. I'm pumped for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they'll be like a big band in the heavy scene before long.
Yeah.
Like, and watching them live, you're just like, yeah, you've got it. You can see straight away. You're like, you've got it together. And he's a cool guy. The singer was super, super nice as well. So yeah, he sounded fucking hard. So
cool.
Yeah,
that's sick. I like that. I'm always so interested in hearing like people that, and I think other people get this. People that they look up to and listen to, it's always interesting hearing what they listen to and what they're inspired by. Because so often it's not the music they're playing or not the same sound. They might have their feelings out, but
like, I don't listen to too much heavy music. I do sometimes, but I think for a lot of us, and I think for me and Dan as like kind of main writers in the band, we just kind of that fix of like heavy music is done through what we write at the moment. Kind of just like, if I want an aggressive thing, like I'm going to write it and make that like kind of the record that's missing from my collection, but there's definitely some fucking great bands out there. I also love this band Scowl. Have you heard of them? Scowl? from
No.
America. Yeah, she's fucking. She's hard as nails. But they've started really like the last couple of songs they released got this kind of like, I don't know, like it feels really simple to say like blondie vibes, but the way like she sings with this kind of like Debbie Harry kind of swagger, but then there's like super hardcore parts as well. Like, yeah, I really like them. Yeah, they're a great band.
SCOWL?
Yeah, Scowl.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going to check that out. That's I love a little handy recommendation. That's sick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's cool. That's all my music knowledge done. Unless you want to go back to the 1960s, 70s, then I'm in.
Well, I like me some old stuff, but yeah. I'm always into. I've had this massive thing lately. I've fallen back in love with like electronic music lately, and I can't talk about it with Johnny. He doesn't listen to any of it, so it bugs me.
There's a record. Have you listened to Singularity? Is it John Hopkins? John Hopkins, or I think it's that. You should listen to that.
Okay.
It's called Singularity. I think it's John Hopkins.
Singularity.
Like I just know that record is called Singularity. And I think it's John Hopkins. I think I might sound like an idiot here, but that was my running. It was my running record for a while. Like it builds and builds and builds, and it's so fucking good. And that was like kind of my gateway into like electronic music. But it's dark and the vibes are just honestly, I'm stoked that you're going to hear that for the first time.
Oh, Brad. Well, that's going to be my. I'll listen to that on the way home.
Yeah, you'll be buzzed. It builds in. Oh, it's so good. It takes a while, but you like go on this ride with it. It's amazing. I did a run along the seafront, like a couple of years ago, and I'd been having a particularly like bad time mentally. And then I ran along the seafront and I listened to that record, and I straight up was just crying running. And the sun was going down, and it was just like so beautiful.
Yeah,
and it
I love that.
Pulled me out of this fucking hole that I was in, and I was like, this music is like, it was like meditative. It was so good.
That's cool. Honestly. I love that.
Yeah, so that's the big recommendation for you.
Oh, I'll send you a message after if I'm feeling that. Do you run to like? Yeah. Because I used to run to metal all the time, and I found I had no chill. I couldn't slow down, and I was trying to learn how to breathe. And I break a I'm just running furiously, going crazy, and then be out of breath. Yeah. So now I've got like a cadence I go to.
Yeah, I listen to just podcasts, which is not great, but like I'm a slow runner. I'm not trying to go like fast. I just need distractions because otherwise I'm like, I've heard this song before. I need like something else. Yeah, but as I've said, like I'm the slow boy. So I just like chilling. Like I'll have certain podcasts that I listen to, or I'll just be listening to football stuff that just kind of takes my mind off of it. But I'll listen to demos on runs. So like if we're writing, I'll listen to them. And in my head, like I have like if I start the song 3 or 4 times over and over, and I get like a good kilometer or a good 2K or 3K over a song, I'm like, this is a hit. This is one that This is one that we should push for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That must be a hard thing. Like, test. I can say this. I'll tell you after, but I helped out someone with a music thing on the weekend. That's as vague as I can be right now. But I heard the song 50 times while we're doing it. And I was like, you must get so sick of your own music in the like production stages of it, of just playing it. Yeah. And particularly when you're writing it and you're like getting those little nuances and you're doing one thing just over and over and over and over. Yeah. Do you have like a reset for that to make you then fall back in love with it?
You have to just go away from it. Yeah. And you have to just turn it off. Because your ears get burnt out as well. You start hearing things that you're not hearing. Because your ears are just like straight up tired from obsessing over this small thing. But I think the thing is when you have a hit or you have a song that you like are obsessed with and it has that like replayability, you just know it's going to be just a massive moment and you just can't stop listening to it. Like Animals was, when we got the first demo from Animals, like I didn't listen to anything else for weeks because I was like, I can't believe this is our song. Like, this is absolutely, like, I was like, this is unbelievable. And you have that thing where you're like, I can't wait to show people this. I can't wait for people to hear this. And I had it with Seeing Red as well, where I was like, when we finished seeing Red, I was like, wow, I am so proud of us for creating this. You know, it's like the kind of first single with Dan playing guitar and with me and him working together on this. Like, I was like, this is just wow. Like, how have we done this? And yeah, think you have those moments where you're like, yeah, you become upset, you become like a fan. But then there's definitely moments where you're like, if I hear mix 18 of this again, I'm going to scratch my fucking eyes out. But so yeah, in those points, you just have to like kind of walk away for a little bit,
have a break, reset.
Yeah.
Oh, well, man, I'm so excited for you guys to continue, because I, as a fan, it's been like an actual joy to come along the journey with you as you've like progressed. It's not blowing smoke. It truly is like, I've enjoyed you and the band exploring sonically what you guys want to be, rather than just sticking to the same thing. Because each album can be like, Lost Together is like one of my all-time favorite metalcore albums. That to me is like front to back, flaws. I love that. But then I also am so stoked for newer stuff that has way more melody and stuff in there it just wouldn't fit on those albums. And it's cool to me seeing you play with that and kind of get more creative, and also like find yourselves as individuals and as a band. So I'm excited for you guys.
Lost Forever is probably my favorite Architects record. Like, I think I love it. I love Lost Forever. Like, I get why people love it so much, but like, it's there. It exists. It's not going anywhere. You know, I don't want to do it again because it wouldn't be as good. I think Lost Forever is really special, and you know, actually now kind of at the point where we are as a band, where you can kind of reflect back on what you've done and achieved. You can be inspired by that, you know, and inspired by those, you know, those vibes and the things that we created. And I'm excited for this next Architects record. I think it's going to be the best Architects record we've ever done. We just got to get our heads down and get it done.
Well, no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure.
One last question. So you're coming up the next tour. What's one song you guys never played that you, as an individual, wish you played? What's a song that, and it could be like a song that you just didn't get responded, but just like, what's one song that you're like, oh, this is a song that I wish we played that we never do?
That's a really good question. I really loved Distant Blue, which was on, I think it's the last track on Lost Forever.
Lost Forever, yeah.
It's a fucking crazy song. Like, I remember writing that song with Tom, and just recording the vocals in his room. It's so cool. Like, it's funny, like, because we've had so much time away from it, and kind of listening back to it, you're like, how has that come together? It's such a journey. But I would like to play that song live again one day. It's a crazy song vocally. Like, I'm hitting like the highest notes I have in the locker, like the whole way through the song. But I just love it. Yeah, it's really, really atmospheric and really cool. And it reminds me of, we played it on the tour we did in the UK on Lost Forever. And we would close with it, or we would, before the encore, we would play it. And it was really, really special moment. So that sits with me for sure. Luckily there wasn't too many videos of it, of me trying to hit those notes.
I was going to say, that's the danger now. Playing a song that's like hard to hit. Be like, oh man, there's a lot of cameras in that audience now, and they feel really high quality.
Yes, you have to just try and pretend they don't exist. Otherwise you get in your head. I think probably that one. I'm sure it will come back one day. Yeah.
Do you ever? I now have another question. I'm not going to let you leave. Do you guys ever talk about doing like it's been like 10 years, that sort of thing, for albums? Has that come up, those conversations? And do you have any interest in that?
The conversations have come up, but never with us. They've been, people have kind of been like, would you do a Hollow Crown anniversary? Would you do this? I just don't, I don't have a problem with bands doing it, and I think it's cool that bands do it. I just don't think, like, personally, I don't think like Hollow Crown was a big enough record to do a like an anniversary for. It's a good record. It was a fun record, and I love touring it. But like, you know, there's there's some really good songs on there, and then there's some songs in the set where people will be like, "What the fuck is this?" You know, it's not like if you know, the anniversary for All Our Gods or something. If that got to like 15, you know, and we thought about that, maybe, or Lost Forever, maybe there's a conversation to be had there. But I just love what we do now so much, and like those moments were so special because of the people that were there then, you know, like
sure,
Lost Forever and Tom, and all those records are so intertwined with Tom being there. It would just feel so strange doing it without him. But you know, you never know. I think there's ways of doing stuff as well, you know, like doing like playing like a few more older songs off those records around a tour that was around an anniversary or something, you know. But who knows, when those records hit 15 and 20, you know, if I've still got a voice, I'll go do it. I'll give it a go.
I think about like the When We Were Young Fest. They're doing like it's the albums festival this year. I was talking to the guys in Amberlin, because Maddie from Memphis is now doing front like vocals for Amberlin, and so he's doing Never Take Friendship Personal as the whole album. I was like, oh, how do you feel? He's like, oh, I'm so nervous, but it's gonna be so much fun, because it's like an album that obviously made them. And I was like, oh, that's a cool experience to think about, like a different member of the band doing it. It's a very different like situation for you guys.
That record rules as well. I remember going to see them play in Brighton, like when I was a teenager. Well, I wasn't even in Architects yet, and they came and played Brighton, and I remember, going to see them and being blown away. And I remember waiting by the back door to meet them, being like, "I love your band." And now, well, you know, now I'm in a band. It's funny.
Manchester United.
Yeah, exactly. That's yeah. Me at that age would have been like, "What? How have you done this?"
Yeah, well, that's good, dude. That's me every day. I have such imposter syndrome doing this. I have no musical talent, and I'm like, oh, like bands that I grew up loving and listening to and going to shows, and now my buds and I talk to often daily.
You got the ear. You got the ear, man. There's so many people in the music industry that just have the ear that can just tell when something's good. It doesn't mean that you can necessarily write something. It just means that you just know. You're just in tune with your gut. I think that's good. And it's a good thing to be in tune with. Exactly. Some people don't. Thanks, my bro.
Oh, man. Well, I love you. I'm stoked for this to be coming out. As we said, March 15th, people can get Seeing Red. They can see Red themselves.
Literally themselves.
And all proceeds are going towards your, is that Wonderdog? Is that the name of it?
Yeah, Wonderdog Rescue. Yeah.
Wonderdog Rescue. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks, bro.